us what's going on. It's Preacher. Considering it was quiet last week, I do like to keep you guys informed. We'll have a discussion about Legion and talk about all this good stuff that you guys have been asking me about for the last 4 days and explain where I was. But first of all, my sales bit. This vid's brought to you by Discord, which has been awesome for us. We didn't think you guys would accept it so much. The transmog discussion is the best part. The dedicated transmog section in there. So if you want to check out link down below. Discord have been really good to us. We've got one more video to make with those guys. So don't worry if you hate this stuff, it's going away. Let's move on then. There's links down below as well to subjects I'm going to talk about so you can skip through it, because I'm probably going to be nattering for about 20 minutes-ish, I guess, and having a bit of a ramble about all kinds of Legion stuff that you've been going on with me. In terms of why it was quiet last week, it was a shitty week. Emma had surgery. You probably know that if you watched the web show, which seemed to go well, but then there was complications, there was infection, and she was kind of fucked up for a few days. And I don't like talking about this stuff until it's resolved, which is why I then told you that we had the cancer scare and all that. So we thought it was done, and then she got ill again. So she found out yesterday things are going to be fine. She's got to have another surgery though, which sucks. So I'll let you know after that's all done and we got the all clear. But thankfully, she can go away. She's got a mummy's holiday this week with the kids, which I don't go to, but because we're working. So she's going away, and she got the okay that she could go. It was on edge for a bit. But also, tomorrow, me and Hero over here are fucking off to London to host a big event for Blizzard and Universal for the Warcraft movie. I'm excited about this. This is our first hosting gig. If we do well here, we seem to be making inroads in this kind of area where we'll get the occasional thing to go and do something a bit special. Really fun part of the job. So we did the thing at Birmingham NEC where we were on the main stage for Twitch. That seems to go down really well. We were unsure of like how that went, but we immediately got invited to a much bigger event like 2 days after that. So it seems to have gone well. I'm really happy with that. So hopefully we can nail this one. And if we nail it tomorrow, that's like us showing that we can host an event on behalf of other people. So we're really starting to do things there. It's an exciting time. I think it's an exciting time. Other than that, you probably think, well, if you were goofed up with Emma, where was Ghosty? Ghosty, literally today, my hero over there, finished a 2.5 week project. Did you, mate?
I did, mate.
You did, mate. We're involving vectors and stuff. I don't. This is why he's here. I don't know how to do that stuff.
Foundations, mate.
Yeah, making the foundations for stuff. So wireframes. I don't know, but I know it was a long, laborious, and meticulous task, and he's nailed it today. So he's doing some good stuff with that. I think I can see him working on it right now. So you guys will get to see that soonish, hopefully. Nothing too soon. Please don't ask. Please don't ask. It's ready when it's ready. But that's what Ghosty's been working on for us. So let's talk about Legion. How is Legion going for you, Preacher? Is what a lot of people ask me, because the honeymoon period's over, right? We're into the game now. We're settled in. A few things going on. A lot of people asking, is there like too much to do in Legion? Wow, what a world we live in, right? So is there a way of doing this? Like, what had nothing to do? Legion's got too much in the eyes of some people. Is there a middle ground that suits everybody? No, there isn't. I know for me, I would rather have too much content to do that's a choice. That's the important thing here. That's a choice than logging in and staring at my garrison and admiring the frosty tundra, looking out over that. I much prefer this. And it is a choice. I think the only people who are really sort of feeling the burden a little bit right now, or should be, are raiders. And that's fair to say, is that raiders are getting a real fucking kick in the teeth at the launch of Legion. Now, 7.1 will alleviate a lot of that. We did say on the web show that like raiding for me was like 5,000 gold a pull on our server. I didn't want to level an alt in Legion. It was the first expansion in like 3 where I didn't have to level all my characters. And that was great. That was such a freeing experience. I can't tell you what it's like to be looking at your login screen and seeing like all those characters and thinking I have to level all of them really, really fast. It's quite a daunting thing. It's really off-putting. So it's so freeing to not have to do that. I have had to level an alt now, though. I had to level my monk, which is no surprise to anyone. People ask me the question, because I love my Windwalker, and you guys know I loved the Windwalker in Alpha and Beta and recommended it to so many of you, and you guys are now like, thank you. And that's awesome. It's the best feeling ever. Shame about the Elemental Shaman, though. That's a pity, that. The gameplay is good. I stand by all my guides, all my previews that I did in the Alpha and the Beta. And it's a real shame that the Ele Shaman has worked out badly just damage-wise. I don't know if they're even fixed now. I should have checked. But the our Elemental Shaman isn't in our raids. He's been away for a little while. So I think he was either off port or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if the buff did enough for them. I'm not hearing great things. I'm not hearing as many complaints as previous, but I think people might have just left it alone and gone away, which is a shame. which is a real shame. So I still stand by what I said. The gameplay is cool. In terms of, for me then, the raiding has been a pain in the ass. It's been a real problem. I spent about 2 million gold is what I came out of WoD with. I stopped playing WoD a long time before the ending where I could have like tripled, quadrupled that money. But I just was happy to have 2 million going into a new expansion. That should have been more than enough to cover me, given the history of the game. I recommend it to so many of you to take up a gathering profession. I know in Stark, like, everybody rolled herbalism during the end of WoD, based on my videos. I didn't take that advice, but out of, like, not being, like, smug prick, more the case of I thought, I don't think it'll be a problem for me, because I've got so much gold, that it wouldn't be a big deal. Wrong. Wrong. When you're talking about a raid night where you've got like 20 plus pulls, you're talking 100,000 gold a night of raiding. That's how much it was costing. So it was like, oh my god, such a drain. And I went down from over 2 million to 3,000 gold. Literally just 3,000 gold. And I said to the guys, like, I can't afford the next raid, pretty much, the situation I'm in. And I wasn't asking for money. I was saying I've got a level in alt now because of this. Some guys did send me some money though, which was nice. Some of the raiders who made millions of gold, which I'm sure many of you watching this did as well, either based on what I suggested you do or you naturally had it anyway, have made millions of gold in this gold rush that occurred at the beginning of Legion. But it's glad to see, at least on my server, the prices have crashed now. Everybody's a herbalist. Let's give you an example. Flagel Scargle, whatever it's called, the Stormheim one, was 1,000 gold per one just 7 days ago. That's more expensive than the potions it makes. I don't know, man. But now it's down to like 70 gold. You know what I mean? It's gone down to like 75, 80 gold. I'm sure it's fluctuating up and down all the time. But there are now so many herbalists that the market is like flooded with people trying to grab onto the last strips. And there are other ways of making gold. People are still raking in the millions. But like a Blitzer market's crashed. That's all done with now. Drops are just better. Mythic Plus is giving better gear. So it's this initial rush that you've got to be sort of like, brace yourself, you're going to get through it. And then once you do, that's cool, man. It's over with. And 7.1 will make it even easier. I do miss being able to trade my garrison resources for herbs, though. Oh, I do miss it. And for food and stuff. Yeah, I'll be that guy. I miss that. That was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. I never had to worry about these things. I never was ever below like 300 potions. Getting below 300 was like, I've got to make more. But now I'm nice with my like 100 odd potions ready to go and all that kind of stuff. I will say the runes, the defiled augment runes, are a fucking joke. I mean, LFR is supposed to encourage, in my mind, and I think most people would agree with this, the idea of the augment runes is to encourage high-end raiders to go into LFR and help boost people through that. That's one of the motivations, because like as a DPS, unless you're buying them or you're tanking, or you can off-spec to tank or off-spec to healer, you can't get them. There's like no way else of getting them besides just flat out buying them all the time. So one of the incentives to get raiders and stuff into LFR is to drop the runes, but there's just not enough. I got one on my first run, killed 3 bosses, got 1 rune. That's like an hour of my time for a rune. No, I'm not doing that. I did get 3 last week, but yeah, I mean, there's no reason for me to go to LFR at all now, and I don't think Blizzard wants that. So I think I would expect something to modify there, where they're going to try and encourage people there. But maybe not, because there's not much reason for players, even in the more relaxed environments, to go and do LFR either. Can't do the quest there. Gear's not great. You can do better elsewhere. So it'd be interesting to see what becomes of it. And is it truly the beginning of the death of LFR? Do I want that? That's not what I'm saying. I quite like the idea of having this tourist mode, but the death of LFR as being like a source of gear, people think it's part of a progression system, which it isn't. It never intended to be. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That'll be interesting to see. In terms of raiding, there's no doubt the Emerald Nightmare is a disappointment. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I think most people are coming to terms with the fact that Emerald Nightmare has some truly horrific fights in it. Really bad and just super boring. What has been interesting, though, is I did the video when me and Andy had cleared normal and heroic, was what my favourite fights were, which was like the Spider Boss and Scenarius. Now Mythic is underway. It's changed completely. Like the Spider Boss is fucking terrible on Mythic. Really bad. Just running constantly as a ball. Like I like fights where you can show off flair. That's why I make these standout videos where you can individually manipulate the fight maybe sometimes. And if you do well, that helps out everybody else. You can't do that on Spider. It's just like you've got to move as the ball. Left, right, and back again. Jump over. Do it again. Jump over. And now these eggs. Oh, shit. So that fight is garbage and has ruined the experience now because everybody's got Mythic experience in my team. So the heroic fight just melts to the ground straight away and it's fucking boring. But what has become my favourite fight so far has been the Dragons of Nightmare. And if you've done them normal and heroic, they're terrible, terrible, terrible fight. Really bad. Like, no one knew what was going on. That was a big wake-up call. When we started Mythic and did our first pulls in it, the mechanics matter in Mythic. And people are like, I've never seen this before, despite the fact it's been happening on heroic and normal since we first got in there. Nobody knew what happened on that fight in my team. Like, very few people had any idea what the fuck was going on. Because you can manage all the mechanics on normal and heroic with like 4 people. 4 people can take care of the vast majority of the mechanics, whereas everyone else can just kill dragons and try and cleave them both down. In Mythic, though, you get fucked. You get fucked. And what I love about it is it's all about individual adaptation. And what's been interesting is, obviously, a lot of raiders, I think early raiders, especially like non-very, very experienced raiders, are very used to having a very procedural way that a fight should flow. And they practice that and they get this bit down. And then they get this bit down. And they get this bit down. And then the boss dies. And most fights work that way. So if you look at Nathendra, it's like, stand around until infested breath, then you move. Stand around until infested breath, then you move. Then there's Heart of the Swarm, avoid the bugs, go back and repeat over and over again until the boss dies. Right? It's that steady, steady progress where there isn't much difference going on. And most people are doing the same jobs over and over again. Then you get to Mythic Dragons of Nightmare, and you can't do that. And a lot of, not necessarily inexperienced raiders, but a lot of raiders will start calling RNG. I got fucked by RNG. And that's not true. I'm not a subscriber to that theory at all. Everything there is completely capable of being dealt with. But you have to adapt. You have to adapt. You can't take you can take some of the knowledge you learned in the previous fight, but you might say something like Warlocks are going to soak something, but the Warlocks get debuffed and other things happen to them, and it needs to be up to you. And you might not be the volunteer. You might remember what I made that big video, which was like, be the fucking volunteer. Be the guy who does these individual tasks. And there are plenty of people who have never been that guy. They never soak the stuff unless we're doing it as a group. They never take on those individual tasks. So the Dragons of Nightmare are like, fuck you. You've got to do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to wipe. And I really, really enjoy that. I think it's bad for melee, though. I'm sure the melee are probably cursing me right now. But it's really bad for melee, unfortunately. Not much I can do about that. But so far, as a caster, I would hate to be melee on that fight, but as a caster, yeah, I'm loving that fight because it's constantly different. Always different. Always ever shifting. Positions are always shifting. Positions are really tight because you're constrained by what the dragons are doing. Really enjoy that fight. So in that way, it's completely switched around from heroic. So raiding itself is okay. We even used a Vantus rune on Ursoc because who the fuck can be arsed with that fight? Who the fuck? At least the Butcher, right? They seem to have this hard-on for having this straight-up DPS boss. So it's a bare ass this time. Woohoo. Even the Butcher, the end of the Butcher is really intense in Highmaul. Really fucking intense end of that fight. Where the most dangerous mechanics and he's charging about and he's doing all these cool things becomes far more dangerous and intense. Ursoc is just fucking boring. It's just so boring. Nothing happens. You get an add to cleave and you either make the timer or you don't. So we popped a Vantus rune on that and was like, fuck this. We did do heroic split runs. We don't have an 867 item level. Shit, I did Ursoc Mythic in 854. Something like that. So get the fuck out of here. And then moved on to a more interesting mechanical fight, which I thought was a good plan. So we got a couple of bosses left to kill in Mythic. Well, like, I think we've got 4 left to kill. Because we got the Dragons of Nightmare to like 10%. We've still not done the eye, which, the eyeball. So I'm looking forward to that. Remember, I don't raid World First anymore. I love the guys. I mean, most of my nights right now, and my guild will attest to this, are spent sending motivational memes to various members of the raid to encourage them to do better, which is great because there's my raid team is made up of like old school top end raiders and like new guys who are just coming into the forefront. Like we've even got some old team 2 from the last expansion in Stark who have moved up to team 1. And you know, everyone's at different levels. So I think this is a really great learning experience. Like the Dragons of Nightmare is a learning experience for all these guys of how you need to be able to adapt on the fly very quickly and communicate. Big thing on Dragons of Nightmare is communication, which some people haven't had to do. Like some of them are just, I'm a DPS and I just kill the boss. Now you need to communicate, and this is going to serve us so well going forwards, is to get these guys with this experience early in expansion. So I'm really happy with that. So you should, if you're stuck on that fight over whatever reason, then take it away that this is a good learning experience. A lot of different things going on there which will help you in the future. On top of that, one of the issues I do have with Legion is the amount of time I don't have to do the stuff I want to do. Now, this isn't because the game's too grindy. I think that's a personal choice. Then world quests aren't going away. They're not going anywhere, but they're a total choice, especially at this point. Most of you are probably getting near exalted with most of the factions, which you don't really need unless you're after the recipes. Most of you have probably done Suramar by now. And you're starting to... Most of you probably got your the final class order campaign underway. So you no longer need things like class order resources. You certainly don't need the gold. You certainly don't need a lot of the stuff that's... If you've already got a lot of your recipes that you can get from World Quest, they're just turning into crappy materials now. And AP is even getting to the point now where... Not that I'm going to say it's not worth it, but it's way down the priority list now. Because the numbers are so high. Like, my next one's 240,000 artifact power, and this quest is giving me like 800. Jesus Christ, man. You know what I mean? I would rather wait for a few more research notes and just start going through it at a normal pace. I think most of you are probably starting to hit that wall as well, where the number that you require is just so high that farming world quests for an hour every day is really off-putting. So you can have a choice, and they're not going to go away. And I get that a lot of people feel compelled that when they log in and they see all this stuff on the world map that are like, I have to do all this, that they feel that way. That's on you, though. That's your choice. There's definitely no reason to be farming every single one every single day. That's not going to benefit you at all. Sorry, my wife's calling, but I'll finish this first. But there's stuff I want to do, which I haven't had time to, because I've had to go herbing and stuff. Like the fishing artifacts. I fucking love the fishing artifacts and upgrading it. I think Andy's with me on that as well, right, pal? The fishing stuff's fucking awesome. The fishing artifacts is so cool. One, the quest to get it is great. Love that they've put all those rare baits in that are all different. And I really like that it totally makes the experience more fun. Now, some of you don't like fishing. I don't mind fishing. At the end of the raid, when my mind's going and stuff, I can't go straight to bed. So I don't mind sticking on a TV show. I'm like watching Mr. Robot at the minute and doing a bit of fishing. Upgrading it so I can walk on water now. I can swim. I can turn into a fish. I can teleport to pools. You get the thing where you just cast it into a pool. You get all the fish immediately. I love that. I think it's so cool and so interesting. I really fucking wish they would expand that to mining and herbalism. I've got to say, I'm not a fan of this 2-tier or 3-tier system for each of the little individual professions because it's so massively RNG skewed. It fucking sucks. So I've collected like 250 Starlight Rose. That's when I got the level 2. And as you know, that's 250 with my bags. That's so many that were just grey dust. And that's my RNG for it. I've got, 800 Laystone ore and still don't have level 2 for that? It's fucking crazy. It's really annoying, actually. It's just annoying. It's not fun. It's not interesting. When it drops, it's like, Jesus Christ, really? Thank God for that. I'm not finding that fun in the least. I really wish they had something like the Artifact Pick, Artifact Shears, something I could be working on that makes the experience doubly rewarding. So, like fishing, yeah, I'm gaining fish which I can use for cooking and stuff, which isn't a big deal now, as you know. But at the same time, I'm upgrading this thing. It's making the experience better. It's making it faster. It's making it more interesting. I really think they need to look at doing that down the road with more professions, particularly the gathering ones. I don't know which dickhead decided that Starlight Rose should drop grey dust. You're a bellend. You're a fucking bellend. That's not fun at all, man. It's just frustrating. I think that's all it is. And to have the level 3 is like, you don't fail anymore. Woohoo. Thanks, bruv. Thanks very much. But I want to do fishing more. I can't. I want to get that finished. I want to do archaeology. I don't mind. Again, like I can chill out and do some archaeology for a bit. They give good rewards, like turning the world into what the world would look like the Legion one. I think that's really awesome, man. That's really cool stuff that I'd like to do in my free time. Like when you had those choice reputations you go farm, like in TBC, you could go and get like extra rep with Aldors and Scryers. Go and pick up these little factions that weren't necessarily needed. Same with like the Sporlings and all that kind of stuff. It's just extras. Timbermore. Just go and doing them. Not a requirement of the game, but something you can go and do. That stuff is there in Legion, but I haven't got time right now to go and do it because I think I could go an hour of fishing right now, but I should be herbing. Otherwise, I'm going to be poor again. Right? So that will again alleviate in 7.1, and I should find the time to do that. But overall, if our biggest problem in Legion for a lot of people is there's too much to do, that's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. It really is. Other than that, I've not had major issues. Mythic Plus at the top end is really fun, at the really fun end. I had my first bad run, actually, last night. There was something about logging on at midnight, and I got an instantaneous whisper. Like, I logged in, it had gone midnight, I got an instantaneous whisper saying, Quarter Stars 9. I was like, yeah, sure, we've done it before, no big deal. But everyone was tired. Even the best of the best. When you get into a really tired environment, and especially somewhere like Quarter Stars 9, where we got one buff and it was the movement speed, just got fucked on the buffs. Is not a good experience, and not a good experience at all. I mean, we cleared it in under an hour, but fucking hell, usually we clear that in like 25 minutes or something. I'm not sure what the timer is. I could be lying. We usually clear it under the time though, easily. But this time, not so much. Not so much. It was a fucking nightmare. So. But it's still, the content itself is really fun, and I love the way the affixes change your gameplay and make it more interesting. And I'm looking forward to doing the plus 15s, hopefully next week. Get involved in doing that if I get lucky with some gear. I just did the gear video, which is a pain in the ass. I'm okay with it. I mean, I know what's an upgrade for me and what's not. I'm just seeing so many people getting fucked up by this that I'm hoping we can fix that. Other than that, though, I'm having a really good time with Legion. I'd love to see your thoughts as well. All right, I've been talking like 20 minutes, so I'm going to leave it there and say goodbye. I can say that we will be live streaming from London. We're going to be streaming it. Hopefully it's on my channel. If not, I'll tweet out where it's going to be. And we're going to be at Tommy's Bar. Tommy's Bar trying orc burgers, whatever the hell they are. Orc burgers. So if you're in London, look for Tommy's Bar. It's TOMMIS. I'll put a link down below where you can come and meet us. And that is tomorrow. I believe are we hosting tomorrow night? We are, aren't we?
Yes, pal.
Yes. So that's tomorrow. Literally tomorrow. All right, guys. So have a great day, whatever you're doing. Good luck next reset. Excuse me. Just had lunch. Good luck next reset. Have fun. Bye-bye.